Okay. I enjoy using feathers as bookmarks. It's quite nice. Whenever I'm walking, if I see a feather, I'll pick it up. Kind of cool. As a matter of fact, I found a couple of feathers in my time. I'm leaving these here from my friend. Kind of a gift when you need to fly. Take a feather. Or something poetic like that I don't have in my head right now. Okay, so the second introduction to the novel that I wrote a couple of years ago, Time for New Sand in an Old Hourglass. Reading this to you all does help me heal, because this ain't easy. But I got it. Okay, here we go. Wax on, wax off. Perhaps the first grain of sand falls, an odd introduction. Before this song begins, I thought it would be wise to help you along the path for a time. I believe in the journey rather than the ending. However, this is a very bizarre winding path, and some guidance, just a little, may make it easier to enjoy. Whenever I pause in my writing and need to think, my hand immediately reaches to a red clay cup that carries my various magical items. There are paintbrushes that have survived my chaotic style of creativity. There are sticks from friends that have carved their own magic and shared it with me. There is an old bamboo drumstick from one of my favorite bands, live. There is a piece of driftwood that looks like a mermaid, and on good days she sings a beautiful song of the sea. These things are magic to me, and I keep them close to my heart. They are a part of my song. They help my heart beat stronger. And yes, you can even say that at times they are my safety net when the thoughts rage through me like an out-of-control creative flood. If you think about it, and believe me, I have many times, I guess you could say there are keys to doors. I guess you could say they are keys to doors that open endless worlds. Or you can say they are my magic wands that help release the magic inside of me. Perhaps you could say both. What are wands, if not keys to doors? I believe we all have magic wands. They all look different depending on who is holding it. But the magic is there, always. If you love working on cars, perhaps that wrench or tool someone gave you that ignited the passion. Hairdresser? Perhaps your first doll was hair. Perhaps your first doll whose hair you did so many times, it fell out. These damn tracks. I got the middle age. For those that think in numbers or code, perhaps that first computer you had that you wrote your first program on. Or even just a couple of keys from the keyboard. Whatever our passion, there was something magical, usually very simple, that started it all. The little things, the simple things, are where the true magic lies. The original key that started my magic was a green shingle from an old Lincoln log set. Every kid in the 70s had two toys, Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys, and they were awesome. Basically, you built a big log cabin with the Lincoln Logs and some sort of big windmill type thing with the Tinker Toys. It was simple, but it wasn't just the toys. You always told a story of who was building the cabin and why. And that was the part that was magic to me. The storytelling and adventure in getting there is the important part. I love those toys. I loved opening the lid and smelling the Lincoln Logs, and then popping open the Tinker Toys and doing the same thing to them. They smelled like childhood to me. The childhood where nothing really goes wrong. Where you are allowed to be a kid as long as you can. The smell in those canisters was pure laughter and giggles. I still believe in the magic those 2 cans held for me. I believe that is important. Unfiltered with nothing to hold it down, there are no boundaries to a child and their dreams. Half in and half out, they are always feeding that world with everything they do. That is where our magic began. That is where most of us let it end. The older we get, the more afraid of that memory and magic we become. Perhaps it is just too much. Sorry. Hang on. Ouch. Perhaps it is just too much. The loss of something so powerful hurts way, way too much, and you cannot handle it. I believe in keeping that magic. It is what keeps us alive and young at heart when the world weighs a lifetime, and we weigh nothing. The green stick appeared when I was 4 or 5 years old. Too much has happened to really remember time correctly. Another side effect of growing up. I do know we were still living with my father. For some reason, we got rid of my toys, and the only thing I could find was a Lincoln Log shingle under the couch. I grabbed the shingle, climbed into the recliner, kicked my feet over the back, and then magic happened. I went away. As I twisted and twirled the shingle around in the air and followed its pattern, it felt like there was a fire in my gut that made my heart sing, and well, to sound like a cliche, it felt like I was flying. But it is not a cliche when you are living it, and I loved living it. When I'm done reading this, I'll show you what it looked like when I was doing the green stick as a kid. I started telling myself a story. I don't know what the story was, but I do remember the excitement I had in telling it. I told it the way a hyper 4-year-old kid would tell a story. Bits and phrases in between sound effects, doing all the different voices at the same time, and with so much excitement the body cannot stay still. With that green stick in my hand, I would throw myself all over the floor, kicking the air, arching my back. I spun around and spoke in different voices, and yes, it did look like I was having some sort of seizure. I was hooked. Me and that green stick became very good friends. This is not a green stick, by the way. This is a chopstick, but it helps me think. Everyone was worried about me, especially after so soon of trying to hang myself. Patience, you'll understand that later. But that didn't stop me. I did it for hours at a time. I loved the place inside my head that didn't need anyone else. I could create worlds so detailed I could taste the food, smell the trees, feel all of it. Since Mom and my father fought all the time and were struggling with their marriage, I spent most of my days at my grandparents' house. The house was dealing with my grandfather's alcoholism, and having the grandkid around seemed to put the fire out for a while. It was pretty easy watching me because all I wanted to do was play with my green stick. If someone asked me if I wanted to go to the store and buy some candy or a toy, I would get upset and tell them in a very serious voice, "I haven't finished this green stick yet." And then I'd go back to rolling, twisting, turning, and making all sorts of weird noises until the story was done. My grandfather would sit in his favorite chair and just watch and listen to me. Rubbing his stump, he would smile. Sorry, I can see this. Hang on. Bless his heart. Rubbing his stump, he would smoke his Raleigh cigarette, and with a curious look on his face say, "That boy is either a creative genius or he is just batshit crazy stupid." What was his hand? I really can't tell which yet. But he kept watching me. And that was another magic to me. I was entertaining him. There was some talk of taking me to a doctor until my Uncle Robin stepped in. He just has an incredibly vivid imagination, he said, handing me journals, pens, crayons, and books to read. Let him fuel it. One of the books was J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. I didn't get all of it, but I got the base of the story, and that was it. I was hooked and wanted to tell stories. I wanted to weave a magic of words between pages for other people to read and enjoy. I wanted to entertain people. My life as a storyteller began. I was a storyteller, and the green stick was my wand, my microphone. Heck, it was the beginning of everything. I now use that green stick and that magic to entertain people, to distract them from their daily life, to sing, to let people know we are all in this together, and this song needs to be heard in all of its shapes, sizes, and notes in between. Give me a second. I got this. That stuff will get you. Where am I? Where was I? I was almost done. Freud called. Couch is ready. I wanted to tell you this first because there are some very, very rough parts in this book. As you can tell, I already fucking fibro. Hang on. This is what happens when the fibro and the PTSD kick in from the shit that happens. I start curling in. I know why this happens, and I have to deal with it. So what you do is you breathe a lot. And then you go back and face what you just feared and get over it. You'll be fine. I wanted to tell you this first because there are some very, very rough parts in this book. The path becomes a mountain that is hard to climb. There are things that will make you put the book down and maybe not want to read it anymore. You may feel the same pain I did and think it is just too much. Hang on, I can't see. But my hands are working again, see? Hard to read through tears. I should write that down, but I'm not going to. Where was I? You may feel the same pain I did and think it is just too much. But we all have to go through our pain to find our pleasure. And I made it through mine. Ish. I am sharing these intimate, vulnerable, terrifying moments with you because it helps me heal. I am a storyteller after all, and I cannot keep a story inside of me. Stagnant waters create poison. I believe we all hold too much in, and I am telling this story because this is how I survived. Not just survived. It's how I kept the magic alive inside of me. Because I believe without magic, you may be living, but you're not alive. We come out of whatever hell we have, and we hope to be a better person. How we go and get through that hell is important. Because to make sure you get through the hell, you have to leave it behind. Now then, to begin our story, and this story begins with a song. That's the second introduction. See? I'm good. Now I'm going to show you the green stick. I know it's 15 minutes and it's probably be like 20. For those of you who enjoy this shit, I think you'll watch it all the way through. I don't care. Enjoy it how you want. Pleasure shouldn't be a trial. This is a comfort thing I always do. I don't know why. I did that since I was a kid. Anyway, as I was a kid, I'm going to show you what it looked like. And I'll break this chair if I actually start doing what I did. But I'm pretty sure I have ADD and all, some other shit. And when I was a kid, if they had all the medications and what they did now, they'd have fucking threw so many meds down me. and I'd have been a completely different person. Not a person I loved either. Okay, so here we go. This is not a green stick. My green stick's out in the Tombstone home. I can see the story in my head. All of it. Even when I'm closing my eyes now. Let's see. There's a boy and a dog. And they are superheroes. And the boy and the dog sing a song. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. All right, here we go. Oh my God, we must save the day. Sport, come with me. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun. And I would do things like that for hours, telling the story as I'm twirling this fucking stick in my hand. And my body is going, and I'm on the floor, arching my back. It looks like a seizure. They almost did take me to the doctor. But thankfully, my Uncle Robin stepped in. And man, I'm telling you, when I read you the book and it gets to the horrible shit, and Mom was just not there. Like I said before, what am I at, 16? Like I said before, hang on. Our generation, the Xers, people just didn't fucking really care about us. That may be harsh, but they would just fucking leave us. Just not, don't you do anything wrong, and fucking go away. The life I lived with my mom, that was not a good thing. We were living in horrible, horrible places with horrible, horrible fucking people. This was the dregs where they didn't fit anywhere else. The bars my mom worked in were the fucking most disgusting places. And when shit would get horrible, I would go away. I was a superhero and everything. I saved the day. Bullies never beat me. A man didn't take my head and put my turtle in the garbage disposal. I didn't see a man murdered and his brains on my face. In this world with the green stick, I had a family and a home. This thing saved my ass. Now that I'm sober, and I'm reading that and I remember everything, it is truly overwhelming. And there's even more memories that are coming up now. Anyway, what we're at. Where we at? We're at 18. Boy, if you guys lasted through that, that's a Festivus miracle. All right. I'm going to breathe. And I don't think there's another introduction. I think it begins. Yeah. All right. There you go. You guys are kind of getting a hint. For those of you that have not read the novel, and you don't have to. Actually, you probably can't find it now. It's out of print. Kind of gives you an insight of why I did what I did and the life I led. I'm not justifying anything. I'm not saying feel sympathy for me. I'm just saying this is how I dealt with it. And I hope me doing this helps other people deal with their shit too. And hopefully you didn't have somebody put your turtle in the garbage disposal and hold your head over the sink. And hopefully you've never seen murder up close. I hope your things are not nearly as harsh, but you can get through them too. Keep searching for the music between the music. Keep trying to find the notes between the notes. We're all in this together. Ciao, Bella. Ciao, bello.